Nanu Nanu, and welcome to the Fortress of Dorkness, the nerdy nexus for your geeky needs. I'm your host, Beth Damiano. Prepare to boldly go where no man, woman, or Cardassian has gone before. Real history is trekking into darkness at the creation process that led to 1979's Star Trek: The Motion Picture. Contrary to popular belief, the original Star Trek was not a smash hit during its original 1966 to 1969 run on NBC. It wasn't until it was placed into syndication in late 1969 that it began gaining momentum. Creator Gene Roddenberry had been tossing around the idea of bringing his space explorers to the big screen for a number of years. After its newfound popularity was seemingly here to stay, Paramount and Roddenberry began development on the feature version of Star Trek in 1975, with somewhere estimated between $3 to $5 million to jumpstart things. Many different ideas were pitched during this time. Roddenberry's first attempt, titled The God Thing, was rejected by Paramount, but was adapted as a novel much later, and involved Kirk and the old crew stopping an alien supercomputer from another dimension. Paramount then brought on Harlan Ellison, Ray Bradbury, and Theodore Sturgeon to capitalize on the reemergence of the science fiction craze. Ideas tossed around included snake people, time travel, black holes, and world's end scenarios that the crew of the Enterprise had to deal with. Paramount rejected all of them for not being epic enough, because time traveling through a black hole to stop it from ending all of existence isn't epic. Sure, Paramount. It's up there with Mysteries in History number 27, The Mystery of the Light of Zartha. In the meantime, the cast of the first film, who were signed on, grew tired of waiting and began to pursue other projects. Paramount then moved the project from their film department to their television division, hoping they could do better than a monkey throwing a banana at an electric fence. Wait, what? By the end of it, Paramount's indecisiveness in selecting a story led to the following writers being brought on or considered to write the project. It is reported that a total of 34 top names were considered but never approached. Yes, that is our lovable, chuckling, squishy, jelly-filled, cuddly, pre-Star Wars Jorge's name you see on the screen. A similar list of directors was made until Philip Kaufman was finally brought on board, with writers Chris Bryant and Alan Scott. Wait, Green Lantern wrote this? Oh, no, never mind. Different guy. Draft 1 was finished in 1977 with a time travel plot involving the third eye concept, the ancient titans of mythology, and the crew of the starship teaching early man how to make fire. It was presented to Paramount, where they finally found it within their corporate hearts to reject it. These guys are as bad as that time Julia Stiles kept rejecting Heath Ledger after he tried to tame her shrewish ways because regular Joe from Third Rock from the Sun asked him to. What does that remind me of again? Bryant and Scott left the project in 1977, blaming conflicting ideas between Roddenberry and Kaufman, and of course the elephant in the room, Paramount's need to treat the project like a red-headed stepchild that can never live up to its expectations. In their own words, they begged to be fired. Then, in 1977, just a mere number of weeks from the release of Star Wars, the feature version of Star Trek was canned. The following year, Barry Diller suggested to Roddenberry that they consider going back to their roots, producing a new Star Trek called Star Trek Phase 2. Set many years after the original, most of the cast, minus Leonard Nimoy, agreed to reappear in the series, which would be led by a new team. Alan Dean Foster wrote a treatment for the pilot, which producer Harold Livingston adapted into a screenplay, which itself was based on an outline by Roddenberry called In Thy Image, about a sentient NASA space probe that returns to Earth. Michael DeMann Eisner, yes, that's his real middle name, loved the pilot, and Paramount thought that it would make a great movie. The success of Close Encounters of the Third Kind following Star Wars also showed that science fiction was a genre people were very much interested in. They canned Star Trek Phase 2 2 weeks before they were to begin production, firing cast, crew, and halting everything in favor of a feature film. Are you fracking kidding me? They just black-holed themselves. A $15 million budget was tacked onto the project, with Academy Award winner Robert Wise set to direct, and Livingston returning to co-write with Roddenberry, who he thought was an unreasonable man. The entire lead cast of the original series returned, along with newcomers, original characters created to lead the now not alive anymore Star Trek Phase 2, including characters William Decker and Ilia. Removed from the plot was a young Vulcan named Zahn, who was set to replace Spock in the cancelled series since Nimoy wasn't coming back. Input on the script was done with consulting from Shatner, Nimoy, NASA, MIT, and Isaac Asimov, but still wasn't completed until 4 months into production, as each act was treated differently. What we've covered today is only the tip of the iceberg.
Get back!
Does does that happen a lot around here? Further issues came during production, such as the film being behind schedule, going over budget by nearly $30 million, and issues with Roddenberry in the studio that led to him being removed from the sequel, Star Trek II: The Wrath of Khan. The film itself met with mixed reviews at the box office, and though it made money, though not as much as Paramount would have liked, it is still considered a failure, especially considering the films that followed it. Most of the complaints can be attributed to the long, drawn-out, slow-paced shots scattered throughout the film, which serve no more purpose than to show off visual effects. This has led many to dub the film the motionless picture, the motion sickness, the slow motion picture, among other things. 2016 marks the 50th anniversary of Star Trek. It's hard to believe it once wasn't the monster franchise it is today. Even though the original series and the first film had been a rocky start, it led to the amazing Wrath of Khan and spawned many television series and franchises from that point forward, including the new film Star Trek Beyond, celebrating its 50 years of success. That's all we have time for today. Leave questions, comments, or snotty remarks below. Please remember to like, subscribe, and follow us on our social media. I'm Beth Damiano. You have been watching The Fortress of Dorkness. Live long and prosper, dorks.